All right, welcome everyone to another Cherry Audio live stream. It has been a little while, so I'm pretty excited for this one. I am your host, Cameron, also known as Venus Theory, and today, as you can probably tell, we're going to be exploring memory mode. Let's make sure the audio is working. Looks like might be a bit of a lag here. Cool, looks like we are all set. So howdy everyone, I am excited about this one. Happy Friday, first of all. Second of all, Memorymoog, the new synth from Cherry Audio. It's available now, it just released pretty recently, and I'm pretty excited about this one. It is based on the Moog, Memorymoog, and it is a huge sounding plugin. It's a lot of fun, it's got a gajillion presets, and we're gonna be playing with it here today. We're gonna do kind of the usual thing. We're going to be exploring one of the demo tracks that I made for Memorymoog, and we're just going to kind of build on it. Where we're going to go with it, I have no idea, but I'm open to suggestions along the way. So I see we got Jason in the chat. Howdy, Jason. Jose all the way from southern Spain. That's a ways away. I bet it is hot down there. I see we got Square Sun Music, purchased an hour after it released. Well, nice. Do you use a lot of square waves in your music, or is there something else behind that name? Fabian, how's it going? Rob, Memorymoog sounds great. I think it does. Nardis, whoop whoop. Totally. Beats by Miracle, amazing synth. It is. We're going to be having some fun with it. Soul Synthesis, howdy howdy. Magnus, hello. We had one in a band I was in the early 90s. This one is better. Since you could take it anywhere, there's no atmospheric changes to affect it negatively. Yeah, that is one of the things about vintage synths. And I'll tell you, as someone who definitely skews towards the younger side of the spectrum, there's been many times where I've had opportunities to buy a vintage synth, or I've known someone who's had one and they're like, oh, you're into music, do you want it? And every time, that's the thing that always gets me, is I would love to have some of this equipment, but I know that the upkeep would just not be worth it. Especially for some of the more pricey units as well. I can't even imagine what it would cost to get a full service done to an actual Memorymoog. But, something like that. That's crazy stuff. Houston Singletary, one of the sound designers, is on. How's it going, Houston? Bantam. David, hey Cameron, hey David. All right, it looks like we got everyone here. I think let's start firing things up and have some fun with this thing. So let's get into the session and make sure this is working. First of all right, looks like we're good to go. So let's kind of take a listen to what we've got here. I was just making sure this was the right session earlier, so this stuff doesn't matter. We'll take all this back. And this is one of the demo tracks I made for Memorymoog, and this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instances of Memorymoog. So by bussing some drums together, you could accurately sort of call this an 8-track production, which is kind of fun. One of the things I love about doing demos with these vintage instruments is trying to sort of lean into the stuff of the era and, really trying to restrict myself. So it's a really fun challenge. One of the other things I want to point out as well is I believe every single sound in this production was a preset. I don't think I made a single sound for this. Let's fact check myself there before I wreck myself. Oh, okay, I did make one sound. 2 sounds. I made 2 sounds. The broader point being, though, I think the greatest thing about making all these demo tracks is, when I make demo tracks, I have to make probably 10 of them and pick kind of the best 2 or 3 usually. And the nice thing about Memorymoog is it's got over 600 factory presets. It's an insane amount of content, which made this particularly easy. And the nice thing is there's some stuff that's very accurate to the sound of the actual Memorymoog. Even the factory patches were recreated for this. But the other nice thing is there's some stuff from some of the preset designers that push this into some more kind of interesting territory, and it's some sounds you might not totally associate with the Memorymoog. So that was pretty cool. But let's take a listen to where we're at, and let's start building on this whole thing. Oh, there's an echo thing on the mic. That's interesting. Might be something with this. I just had to mess with this last night. I'm not entirely sure what that would be here. Hopefully that fixes it. Nope, that's not it. I have no idea why I would be phasing here on the mic. Let me check that mic while we let this play again. All right, hopefully that did it. Maybe it's a setting in OBS here. Yeah, it must have been something goofed with that. Hopefully the sound is okay now. I believe it should be. So that is the session we're going to be playing with today. So I think let's expand the idea here. Maybe add kind of a new section. Let's break this up a little bit. I'm just going to check the audio here. Yep, okay, that seems to have fixed everything. Cool. So let's got this cut up a little bit here. And where could we start building off this idea? So maybe we could go in there. I think I started kind of like a funky bass patch. We got a little bit of that nice kind of soft clipping going on there, but that's a bit much. I think that might work there just to kind of... I think we could do that. And I think this is one of the best parts of the Memorymoog, in my opinion, is that filter. Because, like, and some people may disagree with me on this, but I think a lot of the times oscillators just aren't what matters in a synth. There's some oscillators that are very unique, and, like, you know, that is the large part of why a synth sounds the way it does in some cases. But most of the time, like, you know, a saw wave sounds like a saw wave. There's a couple edge cases, but I feel like the filter is really where the life of a synthesizer is. And, the filter in this is just particularly beefy and gnarly sounding, which is nice, especially with the modern switch on, because it just fattens things up a tiny bit. So let's mess with that contour. I think that would probably be good. Lindrums, I don't know. Probably some kind of vintage. Things. I can't remember what sample pack this might have been from. We could try and find it really quick though. I believe it's a free sample pack if I'm not mistaken. It's one I use all the time for the Cherry Audio demos. Let's try gate drums. Bitwig doesn't seem to like that for some reason. Maybe under like retro. No. Kind of hard to say. What if I just look up 80s? I'm not totally sure on that. But one of my favorite resources, I have a ton in this vintage kits folder of really nice vintage drum machines. The Ensonics, Moog Modular, Roland CR78. These are all from a website called KB6, KB6, number 6.de, I believe. And some fantastic, like super retro vintage drum machine samples, and that's a lot of fun and super useful for stuff like this. If I do find these samples, maybe I'll post it in the comments later on. What were we doing? We're gonna add some funky bassy stuff. Bump, 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 something like that. I'm not totally sure what my chords are. I know it's out of the key of G, so it's like maybe G to, yeah, G to F. Okay, okay, I think we could do that. So let's work that in a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do G, B flat. Yeah, G, B flat, E flat, F. That'll work better. I think that'll work. Let's get rid of that bass line here. What preset is this? That's a good question. This was bass 2, and I changed the filter cutoff, the emphasis or resonance, and the contour amount, and tweaked the filter envelope here a little bit. And I don't think I touched anything else. One of the nice things with this as well, though, I want to point out is it does support MPE. If you're not familiar with MPE, that's MIDI polyphonic expression, and basically it means each key can do different things. And I'm sort of tempted to call up a poly preset and do like some poly aftertouch things. I feel like that might be kind of fun to try. But let's try some chords under this. Maybe bigger chords. Okay, that's a okay sound. It's not quite right though. Maybe something a bit glassier. How about some? Let's just go to the poly section. That's the problem with this synth for me is like, you know, I do a lot of work as a sound designer, but this one's just really easy to be like, okay, I'm just gonna use a bunch of presets. But I think at the same time there's, ooh, that's a good one. What? Maybe we could do something with that. Maybe just shave off some of that high end a little bit. Just to fill that out. What I was saying is I think the nice point though with having a bunch of presets is like from a sound designer's perspective, you know, you tend to make a lot of your own sounds a lot of the time, and I do. But from the musician side of things, like when I just want to make music, it's really nice to have a synthesizer that has a ton of good presets in it, because I don't want to waste time in a session like fiddling with stuff. You know, I just want to call up a synth and make music, and I feel like that's the beauty of something like this. Okay, so and the mod wheel is going to control pulse width and the filter. The voice modulation is controlling the pulse width and the filter. So we got filter FM going on here, yeah? Just want to tighten that up a tiny bit. Okay, let's try that underneath this. Something like that, I think. That's got a nice kind of... it's got some nice kind of throatiness to it. Let's try it out. Okay, definitely got to be a lot quieter. Almost. Almost. How about sample and hold sweeps? Okay, that just sounds like super epic. Oh yeah, that on its own is pretty nice. Okay, let's sync this to 16ths, and we're gonna have that big resonant sweep. Sorta. Alright, that's pretty cool. Let's add some squares and a triangle to that. And just to make this sound even more like 80s, let's tune this one up. That might do it. So maybe let's just use that as a lead on top of that. Just try and get the right sort of sound here. I think that's pretty cool. Let's try and layer that on top of it. That's not too horrible. Just wanted something to fill those gaps in. And then maybe we have kind of like a little bit of a breakdown here. Might be kind of cool to get like a pad underneath that. And then like some keys on top just to like harmonize with that or something, you know? 2089, sure. Okay. And give me a square wave that's up a fifth underneath that. That's getting a bit beefy though. So let's clear out just a bit of low end. That sounds pretty good though. Okay, so yes, but not totally. Maybe a bit higher. And let's add a little bit of maybe just a super gentle and slow phaser on top of that. Maybe ensemble would be a better choice here. Super lush. We'll just bury that underneath everything. Maybe extend this bass line through here as well. Where do you stand on creating dry and wet versions of presets? I like to use the effects, save as a wet version and strip back, save a dry version. I don't really do that, you know, especially in a plugin like Memorymoog though, where like it's really easy to just on and off them. I don't see it being necessary to do that, but maybe in some more complicated instruments, you know, if there would really be a value in a dry version of a preset, then yeah, but most of the time, you know, if it's easy to just disable something or, you know, add a macro to like drop the mix down, I don't really see that being necessary. Thank you for doing this, Cameron. Sounds no problem at all. Sweepy pad, is that a preset? Or are you referring to the pad we just did there? Is there one called Sweepy? Maybe we should just look up Sweepy. Is there something? Spectral sweep. What does that sound like? Okay. Let's maybe layer that on top of it. So let's do this first pad thing here in this breakdown section. So let's get rid of that bass. I think, because then we're calling up too much energy still. You know, like there's not much of a breather, and that's like the point of this segment of the track is like give it a breather, and then we're gonna come back in full beans. Really like that sound. Okay, so let's do something with this, but gotta add a bunch of reverb because like reverb is just what makes everything better. Let's change this to plate mode. The ensemble's good, and let's just make this slightly faster. And then could we do just a little bit of gritty, filtery stuff? Just a tiny bit. That might be a little too much. Okay, let's just try this though. Let's just crank the drift like all the way up. Make this super woozy. Yeah, maybe more. We'll treat it more like a keys patch actually. So let's get rid of the attack there. Try that. Maybe get rid of the ARP. And then let's make like a just sort of a impact thing. Try to only use technical terms when I'm working. So smashy, crushy impact thingy. And we need a really big, just like 80s style reverb, so that's probably enough reverb. Needs more low end though. And then a reverse cymbal. Some very weird sounds in here. All right, cymbals. How about if I just give me a crash? Or we could just maybe make one. Ah, that's what we need. Just a really super cheesy cymbal swell thing. All right, let's throw that in that same group, and that way we'll get kind of like a sort of down liftery thing going on. And then we'll add that crash there as well. Let's try that. And maybe we'll do one more. Just pure cheese. It would almost be kind of cool. What if we just kill all this stuff and bring the super funky bass back here? Because I like that like really funky ARP thing. And if we just put a touch of delay on this, like some dotted eighths and some damping. Yeah. And sync the ARP to 16ths. The mode, that's fine. I wonder if that would sound kind of cool there, because that felt very housey for a minute. Man, that's a jam right there. Wow. I want to like transition this into just like a full-on house track, but whatever. We're just gonna finish this section out, layer maybe some chords underneath it, and then we should be done. That's super funky. Love it. Okay, and then let's open that filter a tiny bit. Okay, pretty cool. What's this here? Yeah, that might be nice underneath, just to sort of fill out the funk. Or the one underneath it again. We just do some different chords there. Or what was this one? Maybe we could do something with that. Okay, I think we need just a different sound altogether. Something maybe sort of like FM-ish. Maybe there's like some bells. That's funky. Yeah, bells maybe. Or is there like a, maybe like a sort of clavish, yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Something thereabouts should work. I just want some like chord stabs underneath this. I'm not totally in love with that, but that's a really fun sound. Too bright. Ah, I think that's perfect. It's percussive, but it's not too like poly-synthy. Okay. Now we're going to run that through the cheese factory here. Just not so much hiss, and then let's maybe get just a bit of Neve-ish stuff on the drums. So on second thought, I'm not loving that lead. Cool, cool. All right, transition stuff. Boop. Right, probably there, just to glue that part together. And then just to make that sound a bit more woozy, let's do some lo-fi. Cool. And then we're probably going to want that impact thing here. And I think the rest is good. All right. And that'll probably do it for the stream here, because we've been going for just about an hour. So that leaves us time for questions. If you have any questions about this project or about Memorymood and want to see something in a little bit more detail, feel free to ask. That's why we're here. But for now, while we wait for questions and stuff and get ready to wrap up for this stream, let's take a listen to, I don't know, the Memories of Cheese. Something like that. Let's do it. Cool. I know that section sort of needs work. That just gets a bit messy. It is super, super cool, though. And then the whole song definitely would probably benefit from some more EQing at this point. It was pretty minimal in the demo, And, I try not to process the Memorymoog demos or other Cherry Audio demos I do too much, just so you can really hear the instrument, besides, maybe some vibe factor with like some, retroifying plugins and stuff. But at this point, because it's getting so dense, we would definitely need to do a fair amount of mixing work. Let's check for questions. Can you show the CPU work? Sure. Boop, boop, boop. So keep in mind, I'm also streaming while doing this. So let's find Bitwig here. Okay, so Bitwig is 0.3%. I don't know if I can dial that down anymore, but let's play probably the densest sections of the song would be in the beginning half here. Let's maybe skip to like this section's got a lot of big poly stuff going on. So yeah, I'm guessing I'm just not really breaking more than like 2%. Let's grab all the poly patches at the same time, because this is the show where we try and break stuff. I think that's all the big poly patches at the same time. And let's play just a chord. Okay, a bigger chord. Yeah, so not bad. I'm using an i7-6700K. It's a pretty old processor, so your mileage may vary, obviously, depending on your system, but overall seems pretty good to me. Very educational. Glad you liked it. About this project so much, but people talk a lot about 80s sounds when there are so many 80s sounds. Have you heard the Blue Nile? The name sounds familiar, but I couldn't tell you offhand. May look it up, though. Holotape, just bought Memorymoog without listening to it. Love the previous Cherry Audio plugins. Yeah, I feel like they hear that quite a bit, where people just get it. And it's really fun stuff. I have a lot of fun with these instruments, and I feel like combining this, though, like maybe if you did some big chords and like super big basses from Memorymoog, but got like some super aggressive leads with the 2600, maybe some like weirder stuff from the MG1, and then like, or I guess really you could do your chords with the DCO 106. A lot of ways to go about it. Or Polymode. Polymode's really interesting for bigger poly sounds, just because it's got so much modulation and like filtery stuff going on. Right after this presentation is over, I'm purchasing the Memorymoog. Can you also give us a brief demo on BitCrush? I guess if we wanted to kind of talk about that. So like if I'm doing some 80s stuff, bit crushing is a great way to do that. So we could drop this down to like a really vintage sample rate and 8 bits. I feel like 12.5K is a pretty common sample rate for older samplers, and that's going to get this real. I mean, yeah, bit crushing is a great way to get some super retro sounds. Let's maybe not do that, though. Let's do like, I don't know, was 18K another really common sample rate? I feel like there's a couple samplers that were at 18. So that might be a bit more hi-fi. so that definitely starts to sound a lot more like authentically garbage. So that's kind of a fun tool. Thanks for showing. Looks great on the CPU. Yeah, try it out. There's a demo available. If you want to check out the demo and try it out on your system, you can totally do that. Nice one, tutorial demo of the Memorymoog. Yeah, well, glad you liked it. I guess we'll leave the floor open for just a few more moments here. If anyone else has any other questions or stuff about Memorymoog or this project or whatever, now is the time. Other than that, that'll probably do it for the stream. So yeah, we'll leave it open for just a couple minutes if there's any final things. iHeartNY and ridiculously good on big drum. Yeah, parallel compression in general is awesome for drums. Decimort is another really good one. I would wonder if you took some samples from like Memorymoog or DCO or something and like put it through some good bit crushers, could you get some like really 80s sounding samples? Like, you know, if you sampled out the Memorymoog with a like high quality bit crusher and then put that into a sampler, I wonder if you would get like, you know, some of the cheesier sample libraries of like the, you know, 90s and maybe early 2000s. That might be kind of a fun experiment. Anthony, no problem. We'll leave it open for just a couple more minutes. Rocky, cheers. Thanks for tuning in. Let me check back real quick as well and make sure I didn't miss any questions along the way. Doesn't look like I missed any questions along the way, hopefully. Nope. Okay, cool. Yeah, looks like we don't really have any questions, so thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to pick up Memorymoog, it is available right now, and like I said, if you want to try out the demo as well, play with the presets, see how it runs, all that kind of stuff, go download the demo, check it out. You'll probably end up buying it, let's be real, but hey, I mean, who doesn't need more synths? Especially, and in your defense, you know, plugins don't take up room. You can have a lot of plugins. I don't know that they weigh anything. I don't know if you can weigh data, but they don't take up room in your studio. So you can have a bunch of plugins and you're all good. What is your approach to tuning the VCF? That's a good question. We can do that real quick. So if I wanted to do something with like a tuned filter, I would probably just do something like this. So let's go in and do something basic. Let's see, this is the init preset, right? Cool, let's just kill the release and do so just enter 440 or something. Crank the keyboard tracking. So with keyboard tracking at 100%, this is like a, I think that's a major third. So we could kind of just play with it like that, and maybe we could do like a saw wave. That's maybe like a fourth there. So that's usually the way I would do something with that, is just keyboard tracking to 100%, crank the emphasis or resonance, set it to like 440, and just work your way up and down a little bit until you find the right spot. But with key tracking at 100%, as long as it scales correctly with keyboard tracking, which most plugins should, some don't, but most should, then you've got that. And then you probably want your filter contour to be 0 or a filter envelope. That way you get really accurate. But a little bit of A little bit of enveloping can be kind of interesting to create some more like effects style patches. So we could have like a really big resonant sweepy thing happen here. And then by having the sustain back at 0, we get more of like a, I don't know if we just have a really ridiculous reverb on that. Kind of like a, you know, like a harmonic partial sweepy thingy. So that's a fun way to experiment with, you know, tuned filter patches and things of that nature. Anyways, it doesn't look like we have any other questions, so that wraps it up for the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Memorymode's available now. Link is down in the description if you want to go check it out. Hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic rest of your weekend. If you guys end up creating something with Memorymode, Cherry Audio is looking to check out new content and whatnot, so feel free to share your Instagram clips or TikToks or whatever it is people are doing these days, and tag Cherry Audio because we'd love to check out what you're making with Memorymode or any of the other instruments. And of course, if you want to pick up a cool shirt, there is Cherry Audio merch available as well. With that, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Cameron, also known as Venus Theory. This is Cherry Audio. This has been Memorymode. Thanks for tuning in, and goodbye.